What is up, guys? Stark here. I am back for another Fate video, and in today's video is the final day of the 25 days of Fate, which means it is now Christmas. So Merry Christmas to everyone who is watching this video. Thank you guys for all the support over the years, over the last 25 days of these videos. Honestly, I'm really surprised that I made it through this month with the 25 days of Fate. I really didn't think I was going to be able to do it, but you know. But I did make it. I did make it. So yeah, I did think that this might be the final time I do it. I was just too busy, and I thought for sure I wasn't gonna be able to finish it. But I did make it, and that kind of gives me hope that I'll be able to do it again next year. So I'm not completely sure if this will be the end or not. I guess we'll see how the year goes. So yeah, hopefully I can bring it back next year. I know that I can actually, squeeze it in and make it work, but yeah, we'll see. I also still am a little sick, so again, I'm kind of like whispering during this, so apologies if you can't actually hear me very well. But like I said in yesterday's video, if I raise my voice too much, then my throat gets sore and I can't really talk too well. So apologies for that, but I'm not gonna let a little sore throat stop me from finishing the videos. Anyway, though, today it's gonna be another kind of quick and generic one, unfortunately. But it is Christmas, so I have things to do, and I'm sure you guys have plenty of things to do, celebrating with your family and stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna talk about some of the upcoming craft essences that are coming out in the game next year, and kind of some that you want to keep your eye on. They're not really ranked in any order. I think I'm just going to go in the order that they come out in. With the exception of one, it's going to be like an honorable mention type of thing. So we're going to start with that. It's going to be the Therapeutic Spa craft essence. And what this does is it's going to increase bond points gained by the equipped servant by 100%. And then if it's equipped on MASH, it will also increase the bond points gained of the entire party by 20%. And then at max limit break, it'll go to 200% and then 40% for the entire party. The only drawback to this is that it was only active during the Amazonas CEO event. So it's really good during that event, but then once that event goes away, it's really not going to have much use. So that's why it gets an honorable mention, because it's going to be really good and really effective to get bond. But then outside of that, it's just not going to be usable, really. Imagine if this was usable for a permanent thing. This would be so easy to get bond servants maxed out. But that's why it's an honorable mention. But it is something that you should kind of pay attention to and use to level up the bond of your servants during the tower event. Next up, we have Knowing the Way Broadly. This is going to be a limited time craft essence that is available during the New Year's campaign. And this will give you the ability to ignore invincibility, as well as increasing your Noble Phantasm damage and your Noble Phantasm generation rate by 15%, and then on max limit break it's going to be 20%. So being able to do an increase to your Noble Phantasm damage and also an increase your Noble Phantasm gain by 20% permanently, that's going to be pretty effective for firing off strong Noble Phantasms and then being able to refund and loop them. So not the best one out there, but I'm sure a lot of people are going to be pulling on the New Year's banner and probably going to be picking up a couple copies of this along the way. Next up, we have the Chocolate Heaven CE. This is going to be the 5-star CE for the Valentine's Day event. And this will increase your quick card effectiveness, your Noble Phantasm damage by 10%, and also increase your NP gain by 15%. And then when you max limit break it, it'll be 15% for the quick effectiveness and the NP damage, and then 20% for the NP gain. This is going to be really effective in Scotty teams, as long as you can equip it onto a servant that has some way of charging that first Noble Phantasm off. You'll be pretty good to go, and then you can just get that NP damage to quick up and the NP gen. It's all really good effects for Scotty teams. If it had an NP start, that would be even better, because you do have to get that 100% off the first time, and not many Scotty looping servants are able to do that. But maybe if you use the plug suit or something with a waiver, I'm not really sure. I haven't thought about it too much, but the effects are pretty good to help you there if you can get that first Noble Phantasm off. Next up, we have the Free Seating craft essence. This one's going to be available in the Da Vinci's workshop, and It should come out around May for us, and it'll cost 1,000 mana prisms for each copy, and ideally you want to get 5 copies of this to max limit break it. But what it does is it'll increase QP gained by 1% and Mystic Code EXP gained by 1%, and then the max limit break will be 5% each. So it'll be a really good way to gain some extra QP while also leveling up some of your Mystic Codes. Mystic Codes, you know, they require a lot of EXP to level up, so any sort of bonus that you can get is going to be really good. And then getting some extra QP along the way is going to be pretty nice. And then if you stack it with like a friend CE that has it, then you'll be even better off with just getting extra along the way. Alright, next up we have the Mission Start. This is going to be the limited time craft essence for the board game Apocalypse. This will increase arts and quick card effectiveness by 8%, as well as your critical damage by 8%. And you'll start the battle with 40% of your gauge filled. At max limit break, this will be a 10% increase for arts and quick effectiveness and 10% to your critical strength, as well as starting the battle with 50% of your gauge filled. During the event, you'll also get increased drop rates by 1 or 2 if it's max limit broken. But overall, it's a pretty good CE. It has the ability to help Skyda teams and Caster Artoria teams with the quick and arts effectiveness increase and the critical strength. And then you also get that 50% battery, so it helps you along the way. It is also statted purely into attack, so you can max that out and get full attack bonus out of it. So that's always a really cool thing when you have a pure attack or a pure HP CE. It's always a really good option there. And this one is pure attack, so definitely something to look at and level up. Next up we have the Happy Drive. This is going to be a limited time CE for the summer event, and you'll be able to increase your arts effectiveness by 8%, your critical damage by 8%, and your NP gain by 8%. And max limit break, they all go to 10%. This will be a pretty good CE for Caster Artoria teams. Arts is going to take over the meta once Caster Artoria comes out, and this will be a pretty good one. You get pretty much everything you need out of it except the MP battery for it. But you get the arts increase, the crit increase, and the MP gain increase. So it's a pretty solid option. Might not see that much play because you don't have the starting MP gauge, but I think it's still a pretty good one to point out. Next up we have the Honey Lake CE, which is also going to be out in this year's summer event. And this one is not necessarily a really good CE, but I really like the fact that it's pretty unique. So you'll get Ignore Invincibility, and also increase damage against enemies with burn by 35%, and then 40% for that on the max limit break. I really like this because it is a really unique CE, and you can use it for burn teams, which I always like those gimmicky teams. So having a CE like that is going to be pretty cool to just kind of experiment with more team options. And that's the one thing I think Fate lacks on is the diversity into different extra effects. So sure, you have your quick, your arts, your buster teams, but I'd really like to see them start expanding more. And they have with certain characters, but burn and poison and curse, and just taking the game a little bit further as far as different team compositions and team effects. I feel that would be a really cool addition to go off of. And like I said, they have started doing that. I can think of Van Gogh, for example, is a huge curse character, and I'm really excited to get her in the game. And I just want to see more like that from the game in general, and just have more characters that do gimmicky or unique effects, stuff like that. Next up we have Himiko's Leisure, which is going to come out in Himiko's Guda Guda event. And this will increase critical damage by 10%, Buster Card critical damage by 15%, and you'll start the battle with your MP gauge charged at 30%. This will go to 15% for the critical damage, 20% for the Buster Card critical damage, and 50% for the starting MP gauge at max limit break. This one's a really good one, and obviously it's gonna be centered toward Buster Servants, but literally this is kind of made for Himiko, really, which is kind of funny. The only bad part about it is not statted completely into attack, but still you get some really good Buster effects off of that. So if you're gonna kind of focus on using a Buster team with just heavily Buster Servants, it's a pretty good option here. And especially when Tamamo comes out in 2023 with the anniversary for that, Buster's going to start making a comeback. So this will be a pretty good one to have for when that time comes. Next up we have the True Crimson Spear Trainer. This one is essentially the exact same thing except for quick cards instead of Buster cards. The only difference is that increases quick card effectiveness instead of critical damage for quick cards, or just the base stat. It does increase critical damage for quick cards by 20% at max limit break. Start the gauge at 50% at max limit break as well. So yeah, it's pretty good. It comes out in Scotty's event, and it's basically there for Scotty. So yeah, it's another pretty good one. And this one is statted purely into attack as well, so you do get a little bit more out of it than Himiko's Leisure. Next up, we have the Mystery Treasure one, and this one's going to come out in the Imaginary Scramble event. And this will increase your arts and buster performance by 8%, as well as your critical strength by 8%, and you'll start the battle with 40% of your gauge filled. Limit break will have all the effects go to 10%, and then your gauge will be at 50%, which is kind of 50% is like the minimum you want on a CE that has a starting MP gauge. That way you can like waver into 100% of the gauge, and then you can swap out with like the plug suit or something to just make your team go off where however you need it to go. And getting the arts and the buster card increase can be pretty nice for a bunch of different teams. And then finally, we do have the Cherry Icicle. This one is like another Scotty one, increasing your quick performance by 5%, increasing your MP damage by 10%, and starting the battle with 30% of your gauge filled. This will go up to 8% for your quick effectiveness and 15% for your MP strength, and then you'll start the battle with 50% of your MP gauge filled. Not really the best of the quick CEs of this year, and it does come out for the Christmas event, which is after like Casa Artoria takes effect. But for those of us that don't get Casa Artoria, they might still be running Scotty, so this could be a pretty good one to pick up. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's the list I have. Let me know in the comments if I forgot anything. I did kind of go through this one pretty quickly, so there are possibilities that I did miss some pretty good ones. Overall, I don't think there's any like insanely like powerful ones that are like must have, but there are some pretty good ones this year, and a lot of them do come for like events and stuff, so you should just be picking them up naturally just by doing events and like rolling on the event banners and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's it. Again, I apologize for sounding like crap, but hopefully I can take some time off here, heal up a little bit. Oh wait, no, there's one more important thing that I really need to mention, and that's going to be the date for the giveaway. So I've really been trying to like hammer down a really good date for it. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to go ahead and do the stream on Saturday, January 1st, the first of the New Year's. That's when all like the New Year's events happen, all that stuff starts, and I'll be doing my polls for all that for both NA and JP on New Year's Day anyway. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that stream on the 1st. I'm gonna do it at 7 p.m. I'll do the giveaway at 7 p.m. I might start earlier depending on when I get off of work, but we're gonna look for like 7 p.m. as the giveaway time. Remember that you do have to be in my Twitch stream to do that. It's all going to be live on Twitch, so you have to be in the stream in order to have a chance at winning. So there is a link below to my Twitch channel, so if you want to go there, and any subscribers do have a double chance, or like a second chance, a second entry. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll see you guys on the 1st for the giveaway, and I'll see you guys next time.